have the necessary confidence in the government, and they will come with their money to invest here. For the last 5 years, we have not seen one investor, not one. We have not seen one organization, one company, one entity that came to this great country of ours with their own dough. All we saw and we had seen for the last 5 years was a relentless attack on our public purse, an attack on state resources, an attack on pensioners' funds. Yes, indeed. And all of those misdeeds were meant for the enrichment of a handful and would never redound to the benefit of the average St. Lucian. But July 26 came, and rest assured, folks, based on what I have seen thus far, the Almighty God sent this team on a rescue mission. A mission to rescue this great country of ours. A mission to get St. Lucia out of the stranglehold of Alan Shastney and his cabal. Folks, as time goes by, this government will be keeping you informed of a lot of things, but in my view, of 3 more important things. The first being what we found in various departments and how it is intended to deal with what we found. The second is the delivery of Manifesto promises kept. And this is very, very, very important. And thirdly, ensuring the perpetrators of misdeeds are brought to justice. I believe this is very, very important. Whilst we have had only 3 cabinet meetings, apart from 2 other special sittings, so a total of 5, the feeling of pursuing a common purpose, the feeling of working together, the feeling of doing it for the people of this country in unison, seem to be the sentiments that flow across the cabinet room. That is what I feel. And it is shown, that feeling is shown by all and sundry. I am indeed happy to be part of it. And whilst I know I've said it before, I feel at home amongst those men who surely have the interest of this country at heart. Mr. Prime Minister, thanks for affording me the opportunity to be of service to my people. But you know, folks, like I read somewhere on social media, Siflabua Ararar, you Ararao. They have begun spreading propaganda like flies amid some spoiled meat. They have started with their propaganda. They have started perpetuating their lies, things that are furthest from the truth. Those people do not realize that the disaster that they caused led to their own downfall. They paved and created the way for the downfall of Alan Shastney and the United Workers' Party. I warn them. I warn them that Shastney would not only destroy the United Workers' Party, but he would have destroyed the political careers of most of the people around him. Well, so said, so done. You can probably ask Spider about that. You can ask Ezekiel about that. You can ask Gail, you can ask Estefan, you can ask Sarah Flood. The termination of their political careers caused by no other than Alan Shastney. But I shall warn you, Those cannot come back into the political arena. They have to give up now. I had also said in my penultimate and in my ultimate shows before the 2016 general elections that a combination of Guy Joseph and Alan Chastney would have dealt a very serious financial blow to this country, and the clips are there. They are there to substantiate what I'm saying now. And oh, how right I was. I just did not believe that those guys would have gone on such a rampage so as to cause this country so much financial destruction. They have done us badly. They have done us financial injustices. And so they were sent packing by the St. Lucian electorate. So the Flabos start with their propaganda. They have already given me a portfolio that the Prime Minister did not give to me. So if the award of portfolios were done, or was done rather, by the perpetuation of propaganda by the hacks, then, Mr. Prime Minister, you need to rethink the assignment of my portfolios. So they have done that. They have given me portfolios I don't have. They say the Prime Minister painted his office red. Red. Actually placed it on social media. Well, up to this afternoon when I left cabinet, the office was the same color it was when we entered, when we first took office. So I don't know which office that is red. Certainly not that of the Prime Minister. I read somewhere else that this government gave Virgin Atlantic $24 million to resume flights to St. Lucia. Folks, that is so far from the truth. Alan Chastney did not even leave $24 in the coffers of this government or of this country, far less $24 million. Il pa kite desu. Il pa kite $24, jije we $24 million. Then, another lie. The PM is building a security hut with state funds. I mean, this is so far from the truth. This is so far from the truth. If you all want to challenge someone with facts. Come with facts. Now, you know, folks, a man like Philip J. Pierre, who is so cautious about spending state resources, that sometimes I say our Prime Minister is too coward. But he's not coward. He's cautious about the people's money. Philip J. Pierre spend money on huts, security hut, state money. Philip J. Pierre gave Virgin 24 million. Folks, I can tell you, even if I were blind and I was never a participant in the decision-making process, I would tell you the man I've come to know would never do something like that. Now, he has done something which, if I were Prime Minister, I would never do. I would not do it. I'm sorry. You know, our Prime Minister has permitted himself to be driven in the same two vehicles that Alan Chastney had been driven over the years. The Prime Minister said the state has no money. And so, as an incoming Prime Minister, being Prime Minister for the first time in his life, reaching the epitome of his career, he still settled for two vehicles that Chastney had used for years. And you're telling me that man built a hut with state funds, and that man gave Virgin 20. More than the guy the guy drive a mem machine Alan Chastney drive. Sorry. But not my Prime Minister. He said we have no money, and one of the things he always says, you know, that keeps me in check. Folks, we must lead by example. He always says that. We must lead by example. We came in as a new government and we have not but one new vehicle. We all saw the largesse of the last administration. We saw it. We have not but one new vehicle. He assigned each of us vehicles in the government fleet in an effort at saving money. But that is the nature of the man. That is the modesty of the man. And you know, it epitomizes and it is a manifestation of the St. Lucia Labour Party slogan, putting the people first. Not putting us first, putting the people first. And in that regard, folks, in that regard, the St. Lucia Labour Party made a promise to the electorate before the general elections. They indicated that should they be elected, the government would take on the responsibility of the payment of facility fees. That was a promise that the St. Lucia Labour Party made in their manifesto. Folks, it is just 1 month. Today is 1 month since the government was elected. In fact, it is 3 weeks since the cabinet of ministers was sworn in. But already, a St. Lucia Labour Party government in the main has delivered on that promise of putting people first by keeping up to delivering parents from paying facilities fees. That is a record. In 1 month, a government has delivered on a campaign promise of paying facilities fees. In addition to that, the facilities fees to which thousands of parents across the length and breadth of St. Lucia got that relief. In addition to that, the government embarked upon a school assistance program, assisting in getting school supplies for the children. School supplies of books, uniforms, and shoes. So here you have a government within 1 month. Within 1 month, folks, think of it. Delivering on a campaign promise. Delivering on a campaign promise. Relieving thousands and thousands of parents in this country. Bringing smiles on the faces of a lot of children. Thousands of children in this country. By paying facilities fees and providing those children with uniform, books, and shoes. A total of $2.6 million was spent on the malaways of this country within 1 month of the assumption of office by the St. Lucia Labour Party government in the Bay. And that was spent on the poorer people of this country. It was spent on people throughout the length and breadth of this country. Shasne, that is how you do it. That is how you do it. You touch the lives of the poorer people. This is how it is done. Go and take 10 pages from the book of Philip J. Pierre. He didn't take the money and give foreigners. We didn't give anyone 1,000 acres. We didn't give that one 24 million. We didn't stop this and stop that. No. Bring relief to the poor people of this country. Pay facilities fees to them. Give them a further bursary for shoes, uniform, and books to the total of $2.6 million for poor families of this country. God bless you, Philip J. Pierre. Promise delivered. And I could tell you, folks, this is truly putting people first. Putting people first. And you know, sometimes a prime minister, as Minister of Finance, may make certain decisions, but he has to find the money. He has to find the money to deliver on those decisions. And I could tell you, Philip J. Pierre had to be as innovative as he possibly could, wind his way through the system to deliver on a campaign promise. But he did. He did that for sure within 1 month. And within 1 month, we can say as a country that the majority of school attending children, the majority of parents with children going to school have already felt a positive impact by the installation of a new government. Alan Shasney, I hope you're listening. But you see, this Prime Minister knows exactly what to say. He knows what to say and he knows what to do. You know, I remember when the Prime Minister said about trust the science. The flabbers laughed. They laughed and they even attempted to ridicule him. They attempted to ridicule him and make a mockery of what he was saying. Trust the science. They made memes, trust the science, printed t-shirts, and in various ways tried to demean a man with a good head on his shoulders. But guess what? You see, from now, anything I have Philip J. Pierre say, I say in it too. And I'll tell you why. I'll tell you why. It was not long after they attempted to ridicule him that I heard that same phrase, that very same phrase on CNN by a CNN anchor, Don Lemon. Yes, you heard me right. The same phrase that the Prime Minister used in this country, trust the science, for which they attempted to ridicule him. I heard the phrase by a renowned world anchor on a television station that hits the entire globe, basically singing or echoing the sentiments of Philip J. Pierre, trust the science. You don't believe me? Show it to them for me, please, Mr. Good. That's Don Lemon. COVID doesn't care about politics. We'll only defeat it by pulling together and following the science. That is what they ridiculed Philip J. Pierre for. They laughed at him. They demeaned him. They made memes. They printed t-shirts because he said to trust the science. Here it is. So those flabbo hacks, those naysayers, go to America and make fun of Don Lemon. Go. That is ignorance at its highest. And it just shows how idiotic some of us make of ourselves on the altar of political loyalty. We make fools of ourselves because we want to show our patriotism to a given political party or our loyalty. Nonsense. Ignorance. 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 But you all didn't know. You all didn't know. Nicky Cauldron, good night to you, my brother. You all did not know that Don Lemon would have repeated the same thing Philip J. Pierre said. Had you all known that, you all would not have made memes and printed t-shirts and everything. So right now, if I were Philip J. Pierre, I would invest in that phrase, trust the science. Trust it, because he was right. He was right. He was so right. that you now need to trust him and trust everything he says. He's not a chancellor, you know. He's not. Now, you know, folks, this trust the science thing came up in relation to the discussion on COVID. And the Prime Minister brought it up in discussing COVID. Don Lemon brought it up in discussing COVID. I want to say this without an iota of doubt, without an iota of skepticism on my part. I'm telling you this, I must, and I repeat, I must trust the science. And in relation to COVID, I will trust the science. And I'll tell you all why. When I was a little doubtful about taking the vaccine, I called my daughter. Everybody knows my daughter by now, always on CNN, Dr. Richie Nobi said. I called her and I said, baby, what are you advising me? And she said to me, Daddy, you asking me to take the vaccine? Just hurry up. I said, hurry up. She said, yes, hurry up, take the vaccine. I'm fully vaccinated. And I hope by the next time we speak, you have had your first shot. She even scolded me. My daughter told me, Daddy, you are too intelligent to be swayed by the skeptics. You are too intelligent for you to believe in what people say. Essentially, she was asking me to go with the results and trust the science. That's what she was asking me to do. That's what she was asking me to do. And I'll tell you all why I trust the science and why you should trust the science and why you should run and get vaccinated almost tonight. You will hear in a bit. You will hear in a bit. So she told me I was too intelligent for me to even ask her that or to express doubt about the effectiveness of the vaccine. So I said, all right. By the time I was done speaking to her, I called up a nurse friend of mine and I said in a very surreptitious way, let me come and take my shot. I took my shot and I took my second shot afterwards. She gave me a date. I am fully vaccinated. Fully. And I will say this, if I can be vaccinated again, I will be. If I can be vaccinated again, I will be. Because, folks, I felt so good today. I felt good for myself. And I felt good for persons who are fully vaccinated. I felt good. And to those of you who are fully vaccinated, bravo. Bravo. Those who are thinking of taking the vaccine, to you I say, hurry up. Hurry up. And I'll tell you why. I'll tell you why. I was so relieved this afternoon when the CMO came to cabinet and gave cabinet members the statistics on deaths caused by COVID. And that is where I trust the science and will continue to trust the science. When you see the statistics of those who have died and those who are in the respiratory clinic, you will understand and appreciate why you must trust the science. When she spoke about the respiratory, the deaths, the serious cases, and of course I was concerned having heard a young 25-year-old dying of COVID. I began asking questions. You know, the statistics with which we are confronted in this country, not figures I made up, but figures that are there for all and sundry to examine and satisfy himself or herself about the veracity and everything else. All it leads you to, it leads you in one direction, to trust the science. Our statistics in St. Lucia tell a story that would cause anyone to hurry up take the vaccine like tomorrow or tonight. Those are the stats I got from the CMO this afternoon. And I want you to listen well. Of all the persons who have died in this country so far, none of them were fully vaccinated. Are you all hearing this? The persons who died, they were 100% unvaccinated people. Let me say that in patois. Tout se set lisien ki jamoa. Yo Jenny, yo tout, pièce pate vaccini. Nou pokoni yo moun ki fully vaccinated ki hamo. Pa yon, pa on dimi, pa on ka. So only unvaccinated people have died thus far. 100% unvaccinated. Of the cases we have where people are at the respiratory hospital, the breathing problems, not one of them, not one has been vaccinated. In other words, 100% of those people at the respiratory clinic or hospital are unvaccinated. You don't have any fully vaccinated person with any respiratory problems. Not one. Tout moun ki ka ni problem a respiratory clinic la, à l'hôpital respiratory, c'est gens qui poko vacciné. 100%. Of the serious COVID cases, hear this well. You're serious, but you don't reach the stage of the COVID cases. 98.4% are unvaccinated. Unvaccinated. And those people that get COVID and they are vaccinated, they form 1.6%. Yo pusa, and it is, they have COVID, you know, but they are like asymptomatic or they have very, very mild symptoms. In other words, they put fully vaccinated ou sani COVID la so far, but science la kade ou pa même sorti akodo ni COVID la. That is what the science is saying. So folks, the science in this country is leading us to one conclusion. One and one alone. I don't think I will impose on anybody, but I'm telling you, when evidence-based decisions are taken, you have to take it using the data that reflects which direction you are likely to go. And the data is there for everyone to see. None of the persons who have died thus far were fully vaccinated. Not one. Not one person who's fully vaccinated is at the respiratory hospital. And those persons who have the COVID cases, only 1.6%, 1 in 100, 1.5 in 100. And they are like asymptomatic and they have very, very mild symptoms. My advice is to go get vaccinated. Go get vaccinated. Now, folks, what I'm going to do is I want to touch on St. Jude before I take my first break. And after that, our two people are here, you know. You all want to say, just say a quick good night? Just say a quick good night. Mr. Technician, let them say a quick good night. They're taking in everything. Shamin, good night.
Good night, everyone. Welcome to Can I Help You? It's nice being part of the panel here tonight.
And the substitute teacher in the house.
Substitute teacher. All right, what we're going to do, folks, I want to touch on St. Jude. Sore point. Sore point in our political history. Sore point as one of the first encounters of a new government. But I want to touch on it, and thereafter, we'll take a break, and then I will hand over to the two of them, giving each of them 15, 20 minutes to do the thing. We'll take a break thereafter, and then I'll come back on for us to take your questions. For the very first time since the fire at St. Jude, after the fire, I went there, but for the very first time, St. Jude in its reconstruction stages over 11 years now, for the very first time, I visited the compound along with my colleagues to see what was going on at St. Jude. Folks, what I saw is a travesty. A travesty for which I believe someone must pay. I cannot believe that anyone who loves his or her country, anyone who loves his or her people, would take their money and do that with it. Our money was not only squandered down in View Fort, our money was blatantly stolen. And having toured the two different structures yesterday, I almost found it difficult to sleep last night. This was and is not only a headache, but one has to wonder, what were these guys thinking when they literally abandoned a 90% or so completed structure on which almost $100 million had been spent, demolish two buildings that form part of it, and embark on building something totally new, on which almost another $100 million has been spent to date. In fact, it's more. I'll tell you why. On this show, some time ago, I showed you a direct award for some $53 million on that St. Jude project. I showed you, subsequent to that, another direct award to Fresh Start for $26 million for architectural design on that St. Jude. You all remember? In addition to that, there was another direct award for $9 million for foundation, which the ministry had costed, Stevenson King's ministry had costed at a mere $3 million. But it landed in the hands of Fresh Start for $9 million. So folks, almost another $100 million has gone down the drain. Before I show you photos of what I saw, and as I mentioned photos, you all remember what Alan Shastney had posted on social media just before the elections to fool St. Lucians? Lord. Before I show you photos of what I saw, I will say this. This new St. Jude, taken on by Guy Joseph and Alan Shastney, is nothing more than a glorified car park. It is nothing more than a glorified car park. Folks, I honestly do not believe it was not St. Lucians who voted for this current government. I believe it was God who guided St. Lucians in the right direction. That is my view. St. Lucian needed help. St. Lucian needed intervention. St. Lucian needed intervention, human, divine, or otherwise. And the Almighty God used the elections to cause that intervention. Folks, I want you to think of a car park. Think of a car park, either the one at Rodney Bay or the one in Conway. The one in the Rodney Bay Mall or the one in Conway. That is what we currently have as what the hospital ought to be, or what the hospital is at current. That is what we have, a glorified. Think of the car park. That is what we have. The only difference is that they put not external walls, but cladding around the outside. The only difference that those buildings or that building have with a car park is that there are external claddings that block you from seeing outside and from outside from seeing inside. No internal walls, no external walls. That is what currently obtains for our $100 million. And you know, when they built this monstrosity, they were trying to hurry its completion before the elections. But they were only successful in putting the cladding outside. So we have a glorified car park with 3 or 4 floors, no internal walls, no outside walls, no plumbing, no electricals, not one conduit for either water or electricity, no AC duct, nothing, nada. Just slabs, one on top of the other, being held by columns. That is the extent of what we have. A car park, and you have cladding around. The place remains in a state of emptiness. The only thing is they have some aluminum things they put up to screw the drywall on. That is it. Slabs, columns holding the slabs one on top of the other, and cladding on the outside. No internal walls, no external walls. In other words, moko kwa yo ha servi 20 block ale bagay sala. I did not see block work. I did not see block work. But you know, let me say this. I got vaccinated, fully vaccinated, before I got into office and before the general elections. Okay? So someone will say that is because now I'm asking people to get vaccinated. Even that, you politicize it. That is how we make fools of ourselves. I was fully vaccinated, you idiot, before the elections. Okay? Good. I want to remind Guy Joseph that you can ride bicycle now, Guy. We bad. Let's take a listen to Guy Joseph 2 years ago. 2 years ago, this is what Guy Joseph said. Remind them for me, please.
Before the end of the next financial year, we will be occupying St. Jude's in the new facility. Sama just power. Si nous pas deliver St. Jude, then nous pas supposé un gouvernement.
And the truth detector says the Economic Development Minister's statement Tuesday, February 23rd, 2021 was an untruth. And based on the timeline given by Guy Joseph, the completed building should have been, quote, occupied by April 2020, the end of the 2019-2020 financial year.
You can quote me anytime. Anything I say, I stand by. I'm not the kind of person who say things today and tomorrow I say that's not what I said. I feel bad that I will be compared to them in the delivery of St. Jude because it looked like it's going to take us 4 years to do so.
Yeah, we are targeting 18 months, but that would be 18 months from commencement date of construction for St. Jude, which we are hoping will be in the coming months, way before this year end, that construction should begin down there.
I'm not in the business of putting timelines. I wait on engineers. You see, the same people who are there gave 3 or 4 dates for the opening of the hospital, and they couldn't deliver. What I said was that when we start the work, I expect to be able to finish the work in 6 months. Some very preliminary work will begin next month, but we will be in full construction in January. So you can't see me giving dates about the opening of St. Jude. Okay?
Economic Development Minister and Castries Southeast MP Guy Joseph had made a promise that the government would deliver on St. Jude before the end of its term in office. With the 5-year anniversary of the election observed on Sunday, some say that promise is looking very elusive. Joseph addressed the issue of St. Jude on the Flambeau Forum on Sunday night.
From St. Jude Hospital, they were trying to do something again, no plan. That's why I tell you, you must have a plan. If I spend 5 years in this government and I'm not able to open St. Jude, then I should keep my mouth shut when anybody else speaks about St. Jude. Si nous pas deliver St. Jude, then nous pas supposé un gouvernement. Si nous pas deliver St. Jude, then nous pas supposé un gouvernement.
Si nous passons à deliver St. Jude, nous can aller ride bicycle à l'autre côté. Well, you know, thank God for recordings. Thank God for clips. Thank God for the compilation that you can put together, because they cannot say they didn't say. One time we will deliver St. Jude by so-and-so date. Another time, I'm not in the business of giving dates. But you know, I like how Calix George Jr. had put it. Take a listen to Calix George Jr. And Mr. Technician, when you reach the end, seize on it for me.
Apparently there are lots of efforts. People want to move into St. Jude tomorrow. And of course, that's not happening. And it's not going to happen. And it's not even going to happen by the end of the year. Because that project is so far behind in terms of what has to happen. And where we are at effectively with St. Jude, if you want to think about it, we're putting up the walls. That's what we're doing now. We're putting up the walls. The cladding effectively is like putting up the walls. We are so far away from anywhere near being complete in St. Jude Hospital. And it's a sad shame, no doubt, because we're now at 11 and a half years. And the reality is 7 of those years has been under this, the United Workers' Party administration. They were there first, and they're back again. And it looks as if we're going to go into a whole new administration, and St. Jude Hospital will still not be finished. But what is even more worrying about St. Jude Hospital right about now is that we actually have 2 hospitals next to each other. That's what we have. And neither of them are complete. So it's a very, very sad situation. The 5th year anniversary of the 2016 general election. Pretty much, time's up. That's what it is at this point in time. And any other, if you go online and you look at projected dates for any election, they give you a 5-year period, right? It's from the election date to election date, and they'll tell you time is up, right? So at this point, it's after midnight, right? It's not even the 11th hour anymore. It's after midnight, and we're still piling on, spending, which at the end of the day, the St. Lucian population is going to have to pay back. But what is ironic about this entire situation is that a number of these projects, which we are now rushing to try to save face, to say, look, okay, we were able to do this. Of course, time is up for St. Jude Hospital. That's not going to be completed. Whether elections is in June of 2022, St. Jude Hospital is not going to be completed, in my estimation.
Hold that still short there for me. Folks, what you see there, you know, earlier in the clip, I saw something by Lincoln Pascal. We are delivering a state-of-the-art hospital, UWP. Folks, this is what I mean by a glorified car park. You see the slabs and you see the columns holding up the slabs, and all they did there, they came on the sides and they put claddings along the sides. No walls, nothing. They just put claddings along the sides to give it the appearance that you have the outside of a state-of-the-art hospital, and all people like Lincoln Pascal were bragging about that. All you have in there, folks, is exactly what you see there, except all the cladding has been placed on the outside, and there are some metal strips on the inside to hold up for the sheetrock to be screwed upon. There are no internal walls, no plumbing, no conduits for water, no conduits for electricity, nothing for air conditioning, nothing at all but a glorified car park. Let me show you some pictures of what I saw on the inside of that monstrosity. Could you show it? Right. This is all we have here, folks. Just those those strips to screw drywall upon. What you see in the back, this is all it is. And you have cladding blocking the outside. That look a glorified car park with those metal strips. Look now, that hair looks like, hold on that one for me. That one looks like one of the car parks in the Baywalk. In the Baywalk Mall. That looked like one of the parking lots in the Baywalk Mall. That is what I saw. That is what we saw there yesterday. That is the hospital that Lincoln Pascal and others are telling you this is a modern hospital that we'll be getting. Where is it? Where is it? Where has the St. Lucian $100 million gone to? All we see there are slabs and columns and cladding blocking the exterior. Look at this. There's nothing in there, nothing. A glorified car park. You know, glorified car park. Look at this. You hold that one there. Look, you're telling me that is the state-of-the-art hospital that United Park had on their Facebook page that they are going to deliver? That is the state-of-the-art hospital for over $100 million. You know, that is a travesty. It really is. You can take it down now. Nothing of substance. So like I said, folks, I will soon take a break. Like I said, no electricals, no conduits or wires, no water, no plumbing, no air conditioning, nothing, no internal walls, no exterior walls, nothing at all. $100 million. And you know what hurt me? Norman Senville was with us. I asked Norman Senville, what would it take? What would it take to complete what that monstrosity? Folks, you all will not believe this. Norman Senville told me in the presence and hearing of loads of other people that it would take $38 million to finish only the ground floor. It would need $38 million to finish only the ground floor of this monstrosity. Just the ground floor, another $38 million. So we spend $100 million on this car park, and we need another $38 million to finish the ground floor alone. And guess what he went on to inform the group? That Chastney and Company had already awarded that contract for the $38 million just to finish the ground floor. Are you all hearing me? Nous j'ai dépensé l'autre $100 million pour capac ça là. Et yo ka di yo besoin l'autre $28 million, $38 million, not to complete the whole thing, you know, to complete the ground floor. And he went on to tell us that Chastney and them had already awarded that contract. Meanwhile, Renault has gone to Dominica and built a whole 60-bed hospital for $32 million. He built a whole hospital for $32 million, a 60-bed. We spent $100 million on that already. Foundation that was supposed to cost $3 cost $9. And we need $38 million to finish the ground floor. Now, folks, tell me whether, I don't care whether you support Labour or Flabo, but darling, you cannot support that kind of financial recklessness. Isn't that a wastage of our money? Don't you see corruption written all over this? Somebody has to pay for that. Somebody has to pay. Somebody has to go to jail. This has corruption written all over it. And I can assure you, some of that money is hidden somewhere in some foreign bank account. I can also say that Cabinet never invited their own engineers and stuff. Cabinet wanted a talk just to see for themselves. And of course, Cabinet has already, they didn't want to prejudice anybody's mind. But a team has been put together by the Cabinet of Ministers, and that team will be doing some kind of assessment and will be advising Cabinet as to the way forward. What I can tell you is the Prime Minister and the Cabinet of Ministers are very, very hasty about getting people out of the stadium and bringing them to St. Jude. Something is going to happen in the quickest possible time. But my view is, folks, rather than waste $138 million on this monstrosity, you went in, you saw the first hospital, you believe that there are some compromises in terms of integrity, spend a $3-4 million, get it done, move on, complete that hospital. We don't have, our only revenue source is taxation. We don't have minerals. We don't have oil. We don't have gold. We don't have any of that sort. Yet, Chasney, Guy Joseph, and others would justify the wastage of $138 million on a glorified car park. So this country has spent about $238 million, and up to now, we don't have a hospital. I don't care if you support Flamo. I don't care if you support Labour. I don't care if you love Chasney. I don't care if you hate Philip J. Pierre. You may love me, like me, dislike me. But if you, as a St. Lucian, condone that kind of travesty, then you are not a patriotic St. Lucian. All I can say is this government is hell-bent on bringing reprieve to the people of this country, and it will happen very, very soon. I thank God for causing this intervention to stop the squandering and the thieving of the people's money. We'll take our first break. When we come back, Shamin and Tim will hold on the mantle, and then I will come back afterwards where we'll take some questions.
My name is Martina. I would like to say thank you to the guys from Paddy Access, especially Jermaine, for a job well done. I called him 2 days before my brother's funeral to do a live video, and I was not disappointed. He was professional and kept in touch with me throughout the live, just making sure I was satisfied with everything. I would definitely use Paddy Access again, and I highly recommend that anyone looking to do a live video to hire them. Everyone who watched my brother's funeral had good things to say about how much of a good job the videographer did. If you want satisfaction for your money, Paddy Access is the way to go.
Why are you suffering from aches, pains, and illnesses? When there's help for you. At Health Service Center, we offer a wide range of treatment that has been scientifically proven to help you with your aches, pains, and illnesses. Our ICT machine is one of the most effective devices in the health field. It has shown positive results in many health problems, such as back pains, shoulder pains, migraine headaches, pain in the knees and legs, poor circulation, arthritis, diabetic neuropathy, numbness in the feet, strokes and sports injuries. ICT, repairs, rebuild. The power to heal, the future of pain relief.
Nestled in the quiet northern neighborhood of Larry Twet is a housing development designed specifically for homeowners looking for that ideal location, the epitome of serenity, a retreat from the hustle and bustle of everyday living. Our homes cater to the specific needs of you, the modern homeowner: style, comfort, space, and above all, privacy. Want to experience scenic, breathtaking mountain views, postcard garden sunsets, balconies overlooking well-manicured gardens, and large yard and parking space? Visit us today.
Aging gracefully is the hope for everyone. But when you age prematurely, most people think that something is wrong with you. The natural enzymes and building blocks in your skin start to deplete, so fine or deep lines and wrinkles appear, making you look much older than you really are. At Derma Clinic, we can help repair your skin and change the way you look in minutes. These treatments will make you look younger. At Derma Clinic, we treat all kinds of skin problems, such as facial lines, dark circles around the eyes, crow's feet, and frown lines, using all-natural hyaluronic acid filler. So maintain and improve your facial appearance. For more information, call 453-6417 or 485-9818.
It is well known that diseases like diabetes, high blood pressure, and other illnesses may restrict blood flow, which can lead to impotence and erectile dysfunction. This is why Enhance was formulated to meet these challenging health problems, which can reduce your ability to perform. If you're having problems maintaining your manhood, then reclaim your manhood today with Enhance. Enhance increases your energy level, boosts your stamina, and increases your endurance.
Enhance can be purchased at Citygate Bar, the CDC opposite the market, Dexter's Car Wash on Chaussee Road, Plants Place on the Denry Highway, Arlette Supermarket in Soufriere, the Release Stress Bar on the Labrie Highway, and Cool Joint Bar in Victoria, Choiseul.
You can get your Enhance at Prio's Bus Stop 22, next to the Moshi Bus Stop, opposite the Gurzile Bus Stop. Prio's Bar and Grill in Corinth, Gurzile.
Enhance, the best a man can get.
Good evening once again. Firstly, I would like to thank St. Lucians for a job well done coming together to get this country back to a sense of some sort of rehabilitation of a visionary government. Of course, you showed a lot of resilience, and now that we are back to a stage where we will be getting to a more balanced society, a more respectful society, a more inclusive, and of course a more transparent society. I would like to also take this time out to congratulate our new Prime Minister. I was quite elated standing in the Constitution Park on the actual date of the swearing-in, when, with the wisdom of the Prime Minister, including everyone who was successful at the general elections in a very instrumental part of the government as part of the cabinet team, both the independents and those of the St. Lucia Labour Party. That was quite a remarkable gesture, and of course he alluded to the fact that he had observed that the people had spoken with a mandate, and of course the people are what is most important, and that was one of the first things that assured me that this Prime Minister did not just make a statement of putting people first, but it actually started putting the people first by instituting those MPs into office to help the people who voted them into office to a better St. Lucia, a better lifestyle, better opportunities, and so on. Of course, as I listened to Honorable Richard Frederick in the preamble, a lot of things just kept coming back to my mind. The struggle during the period of the pre-election campaign, and people alluding to the fact that a lot of these things were just stories and what have you. And then today we can actually look at what seemed to be an empty car park, cladded nicely, showing us that St. Jude's is ready to open. And if for one reason you must be proud of yourself as St. Lucians, you must be proud of yourself for that. Imagine $238 million, and we're yet to have the state-of-the-art hospital that we have toiled for in the last 10 years or so, from one administration on to another, and then the UWP promising to deliver it in 18 months in the period of 2018, and to date, we have nothing to show for it. I say to you, bravo for a job well done, because you have put yourself first, and you have put your business in the hands of capable men and women who are going to ensure that in the shortest period of time, in no matter which way they can get it done, that they will have a hospital, especially with the period of having to battle this pandemic, COVID. Imagine the South not having the proper hospital and proper healthcare facility that it needs to combat this pandemic. One of the other things I wanted to touch on was generally after the elections, of course, I've been dialoguing with people, and everybody is not always on the same page. Sometimes you have to go into further explaining to people some of the things that are occurring around them. One of the things that people kept, well, the UWPs, the hacks, Kodise Munla, your Waji, your Pasab Sapudi, they are on the back of the Prime Minister with this subvention where the National Trust is considered. And as a former tour guide, and I still consider myself a tour guide because of the love that I have for my country and the love that I have for sharing what St. Lucia as a tourism destination has to offer, I would say to you, I would like to commend the Prime Minister for showing the interest in preserving the patrimony of St. Lucia. For example, places like Pigeon Island, the Twin Peaks, the botanical gardens, and some of those things are indeed some of the most precious things that we have today. When we talk about tourism, with constant development and so on, without those natural sites and heritage sites that we actually are blessed with, if they are not protected, we would have nothing to offer to tourism. And so as a government, we need to place a priority on that. And so I would like to commend the Prime Minister. And people need to educate themselves as to the reasons behind certain decisions, because it may not always seem to be a decision that would affect you directly. However, there are some things where we need to put country first. And of course, that is one of the initiatives that the Prime Minister saw quite fitting to honor upon his appointment as Prime Minister, and I'd like to commend him. The other thing is, as a single mother, I observed that there was a particular campaign and manifesto promise for the Prime Minister to actually eradicate the facilities fees from parents. Of course, every parent who has a child in school knows about it. And sometimes during the period of school when you have to look at uniforms, books, and all of the extra stuff that we need for our kids, sometimes we just do not have that extra money. And for the Prime Minister to make a promise during a campaign, and within a matter of just a month, to actually make well on that promise, I think we ought to be grateful. I've been again in dialogue with people in the streets, and some of them are ridiculing and trying to make the Prime Minister seem like he's not sure what he's doing. But I've actually had the privilege of talking to parents who have felt quite alleviated after having I had a talk with a young female whose daughter had just gone off to a secondary school. And she said based on the registration fee being $300, when she got to the school, that $90 was extracted. And so she was left with having to pay $210, which is indeed a relief. So it's not just looked at as $90, but it's looked at as something which could help to alleviate the burden on parents. What? No.
Yeah.
Go ahead,
Charmaine.
Putting politics aside and joining forces in the rehabilitation of our country, St. Lucia is where my heart is now. And as Honorable Richard Frederick alluded to, it is not about who you align to, but what affects the development, what affects the stability, the growth of our country. We cannot continue to sit idly and to just cast a blind eye to things that should be of utmost importance to us. And so at this point, the revelation of a number of things will be brought to the forefront. You constantly ask for transparency, and this government has shown with the careful with the careful selection of the cabinet and the manner in which they give constant thought and a process before anything is announced to us, we would be assured that transparency is at the forefront of this government. What I urge St. Lucians to do at this point is to give the government a chance. A government who has only been in for merely today being an actual month since they're in, have covered a number of areas. One of the areas dearest to my heart is the fact that in as much as it is little time for them to look at affairs like assisting people with school supplies, books, and so on, the Prime Minister has found the time, the effort. I don't know where the money has actually been sourced from, but he has made it a priority. So it shows that education and the development of our youth is dear to the heart of our Prime Minister and the cabinet of ministers that we have elected to office. I continue to urge you as a people to work together, bring your ideas to the forefront. In a period where we are facing a pandemic, I ask you to trust the science. For some people, you may have your doubts, but there are ways in which you can educate yourself and you would know better. And if you are not ready, in a sense, to actually make that move, that brave move, and take the vaccine, you should follow the protocols. Sanitize, wear your face mask, and do the things that you're supposed to do. We constantly have to be fighting people by telling them do not venture into areas where it's overcrowded. Do not have beach parties and stuff like that. You're not hurting anyone else but yourself when you expose yourself to the dangers that exist out there because of COVID. You're not doing it for me. You're not doing it for your rep. You're not doing it for the Prime Minister. You're doing it for the safety of your health, your household, your kids who you can expose this virus to. We do not need a policeman on our back or COVID warden, as some of you are saying that the Prime Minister has not reinstituted the COVID wardens and what have you. We do not need slave masters on our backs. We are an intelligent society which boasts 2 Nobel laureates, and we continue to boast some of the best brains in the Caribbean. And I think the onus is on us as a people to rally together, and together we can fight this. Together we can come back to some sort of normalcy so that our country can move on to the next level.
Yeah, good night, class. The substitute teacher here, Shamin, well said. As it is, the trajectory and where we go with this program will be adjusted somewhat, in that the first phase of it was to get rid of a repressive, non-people-friendly cabal destined to disrupt what it means to be St. Lucian. As in, for this phase, we will attempt to discuss government policy and the impact of government policy with the view of shedding light on the intent and objectives of these policies, right? We will attempt to change mindsets, and it must be understood that this administration got a 15-2 at the polls, and this is not just about managing a country, but actually transforming a country. This government was given the mandate to change what it means and to redefine what it means to be St. Lucian, and so therefore we must and we will continue to articulate and impress that. Also to the program, we will and we must prepare our people for what is it out there. And firstly, you must be mindful that the United Workers' Party and their hacks and their surrogates intend to campaign for 5 years. use social media for 5 years and campaign so as to create an atmosphere of instability and apprehension within the affairs and the government. But that, in essence, is a no-no. So we would like to ask them to focus on building a country. The election is over. It has been over. The people spoke, and they spoke loudly. Right? As a people, and the program as well, we must be mindful to defend the integrity of our cabinet, whilst at the same time demanding that our cabinet do not embarrass us. Right? There must be room for constructive criticism. Development can only take root in an atmosphere of constructive criticism. And so therefore, it is not a labor thing or a flubbo thing. Nothing I admire more than a flubbo who said, yes, I'm a flubbo, but you know what? This guy screwed up and it was time that they got out. And trust me, I've gotten some of that. You see? So, moving forward, I know a number of persons, especially the home healthcare workers, healthcare providers, very much apprehensive as to whether or not what was done to the persons whom they replace are going to happen to them. And I would like to state categorically that a government of the St. Lucia Labour Party, a government headed by Philip J. Pierre, will never place persons on the breadline simply because of their political, perceived knowledge of their political association or affiliation. So for the home healthcare workers who, even before election and now, are very apprehensive, I say to you that this will not happen. Right? We must commit ourselves, and the program moving forward will ensure that. We must commit ourselves to strengthening the resolve of this government to deal with corruption once and for all. Corruption, malfeasance, maladministration once and for all. And that they not give in to the calls of victimization, which we will hear, which perhaps is the only call they could call. The St. Lucia Labour Party was given a 15-2, more than a two-thirds majority. And therefore, the clarion call of the campaign, and that is, it cannot be business as usual, means exactly that. It cannot and will not be business as usual. And as light is shed on the malfeasance, the corrupt practices, the indifference, the ineptitude of what was, I think there will be an appreciation for the fact and the need that persons must be held before the court. An attempt, and things must be put in place for an attempt at either retrieving the people's my money, your money, our money. Assets, if necessary, must be taken. Accounts must be frozen. Travel documents must be taken. As a matter of fact, I'm very skeptical at the fact, but then again, it has not even been 100 days. That guy and persons implicated in matters of financial mismanagement and improprieties have the capacity and the ability to travel freely. That I am very apprehensive of. You know what I'm telling you? Institutions charged with the responsibility of being checks and balances must be given teeth. Must be given teeth. The Integrity Commission, the Parliamentary Ombudsman, and one thing is certain about the St. Lucia Labour Party and the Philip J. Pierre, the Honorable, Right Honorable Philip J. Pierre that I know, is that he commits himself to doing things by the book, as it should be done. We do not have, not in the Honorable Philip J. Pierre, and not in no member of this cabinet, constitutional delinquents. There is no person in there who is willing to piss on the Constitution simply for their own self-aggrandizement. And that's a fact that you can take to the bank. The need for, as a society we've witnessed, COVID have revealed a number of things. COVID have made clear a number of things. COVID have brought to light a number of shortcomings within our structure. And if anything at all, COVID have revealed the vulnerability of our workforce. Moving forward, one should expect this government to put things in place to protect our workforce. The workforce were at the mercy basically of their employers with no, how should I say, no solution, no comfort, no resolution in sight. Moving forward, this has to be addressed. The reality is, it's only about a month. But the task of rebuilding, the task of putting this country back, not where we want it to be, but from where the United Workers' Party took it on a downward trajectory, that in essence is a monumental task. You see it? Normally a government would build on the achievements of the previous, but in this case we have to rebuild. When I say we, because this in essence is my government and it is the government of every St. Lucia Labour Party, not every St. Lucia Labour Party, every St. Lucian, sorry. You see, it is an administration of the St. Lucia Labour Party, but the government of every St. Lucian. And it is in our best interest to want the government to succeed. It is in our best interest, and I think we all could gain common ground on some of the things we want. We all want the best for our children. We all want a thriving economy with extra money that we could spend on not things we need, but things we want. And so therefore, this could only happen with a successful government in place. In terms of policy, this government needs to there is not much. Sadly, the St. Lucia Labour Party did not, the United Workers' Party, sorry, did not leave much of an economy in place. And this government have to redefine. This government have to build from scratch an economy that was handed to the United Workers' Party, shining, glaring, but has now been taken back by the people, broken and dull. People, the mission at hand requires from you, all of us, patience, understanding, cooperation, and most of all, trust. Trust in the fact that this is a government of the people, for the people. Trust in the fact that this government commits itself to placing people first. And you, me, all of us must be monitors of that. All of us must be prepared to defend the victory we got, the victory we went out and secured on the 26th. Which means when we have persons, the surrogates of the United Workers' Party, spreading these truths and coughing up garbage, it is incumbent on all of us to pull them up. We're not looking for confusion. It is simply an articulation of truth. We cannot and must not allow the United Workers' Party to use social media to spread their own truths, to use social media to sway persons' confidence in the capacity of this government. We must not. We should not. We will not. And if one were to listen to Sky Radio, one would think that the United Workers' Party almost commit themselves to taking to the streets to disrupt and to cause chaos. We need to say to them quietly that we will defend the victory we legitimize. We will defend the government we legitimize on the 26th. We must say so to them. He said, I don't intend to speak of the United Workers' Party. I don't intend to continue speaking of Alan Chastney, only insofar as their policies or the lack thereof, their ineptitude presents a hindrance to this government moving forward, to this government attaining its goals and objectives. Alan Chastney and the United Workers' Party, what constitutes the United Workers' Party, is now a non-entity. The onus is on us The onus is on us to come together, to strengthen the resolve of the government to make tough decisions. And trust me, there's tough decisions. You see, for senior civil servants who are apprehensive as to what it holds for them, let me just say this. Government was put together in a way so that politicians or the ministers don't have their way. And so therefore, for any senior civil servants, PS or otherwise, who facilitated the standing orders, breaking of the standing orders, who facilitated malfeasance and malpractice, I say to you, it cannot be business as usual. And like my Prime Minister say, trust the science. I would prefer stammer truth than to speak lies eloquently. To the hacks, I say take that.
My name is Martina. I would like to say thank you to the guys from Paddy Access, especially Jermaine, for a job well done. I called him 2 days before my brother's funeral to do a live video, and I was not disappointed. He was professional and kept in touch with me throughout the live, just making sure I was satisfied with everything. I would definitely use Paddy Access again, and I highly recommend that anyone looking to do a live video to hire them. Everyone who watched my brother's funeral had good things to say about how much of a good job the videographer did. If you want satisfaction for your money, Paddy Access is the way to go.
Why are you suffering from aches, pains and illnesses? When there's help for you. At Health Service Center, we offer a wide range of treatment that has been scientifically proven to help you with your aches, pains and illnesses. Our ICT machine is one of the most effective devices in the health field. It has shown positive results in many health problems, such as back pains, shoulder pains, migraine headaches, pain in the knees and legs, poor circulation, arthritis, diabetic neuropathy, numbness in the feet, strokes and sports injuries. ICT, repairs, rebuild. The power to heal, the future of pain relief.
Nestled in the quiet northern neighborhood of Larry Twett is a housing development designed specifically for homeowners looking for that ideal location, the epitome of serenity, a retreat from the hustle and bustle of everyday living. Our homes cater to the specific needs of you, the modern homeowner: style, comfort, space, and above all, privacy. Want to experience scenic, breathtaking mountain views, postcard garden sunsets, balconies overlooking well-manicured gardens, and large yard and parking space? Visit us today.
Aging gracefully is the hope for everyone. But when you age prematurely, most people think that something is wrong with you. The natural enzymes and building blocks in your skin start to deplete. So fine or deep lines and wrinkles appear, making you look much older than you really are. At Derma Clinic, we can help repair your skin and change the way you look in minutes. These treatments will make you look younger. At Derma Clinic, we treat all kinds of skin problems, such as facial lines, dark circles around the eyes, crow's feet, and frown lines, using all-natural hyaluronic acid filler. So maintain and improve your facial appearance. For more information, call 453-6417 or 485-9818.
It is well known that diseases like diabetes, high blood pressure, and other illnesses may restrict blood flow, which can lead to impotence and erectile dysfunction. This is why Enhance was formulated to meet these challenging health problems, which can reduce your ability to perform. If you're having problems maintaining your manhood, then reclaim your manhood today with Enhance. Enhance increases your energy level, boosts your stamina, and increases your endurance.
Enhance can be purchased at Citygate Bar, the CDC opposite the market, Dexter's Car Wash on Chaussee Road, Plants Place on the Dennery Highway, Arlette Supermarket in Soufriere, the Release Stress Bar on the Labrie Highway, and Cool Joint Bar in Victoria, Choiseul.
You can get your Enhance at Pryor's Bus Stop 22, next to the Moshi Bus Stop, opposite the Gurzile Bus Stop. Pryor's Bar and Grill in Corinth, Gurzile.
Enhance, the best a man can get.
Thanks for staying tuned. I have a very long list of persons who said they have been missing me and they need me to at least say hello to them. So I think I will oblige. I will do what they ask me to do. Gerard Polius, good night to you. Good night, my brother. Yes, good night to you over in the U.S. Good night to Swan Alcindor. Thomas Eugene in the U.S., good night to you. Thomas Eugene's asking me whether I need any help to recover the properties that were taken possession of by Guy Joseph, the St. Jude properties. That one is for another show, Thomas Eugene. But we will definitely need your help. Wendy Theophilus, good night to you. Good night to Lon. Good night to George. Good night to George T. and Lon T. and all the others. Rosie T. as well. Good night to you all. And all the folks at Fix. Mrs. Santoma, and of course the man himself, Cameron, good night to you. Jackie and Miss Sidoni, good night. Trevor Francis in New York. Sophia, my sister. Bia, my sister. Frances, Sophia, Bia, yes. My three sisters, Sharon and Sharon Morgan, good night to you. Pages, good night to you. Danny, good night to you, all of you in New York. Melina Sherbe in the UK, good night to you. Fabian, Makla, Del Manuel, and all of you. Zanik and Millet, good night to you. Good night to Nancy and Ian in Jetwin. Ika James, Boswell. Trisha in Deriso, a special good night. Nigel Sinclair, a special good night. Jumin Priville and all the others. Mikey and Bolo and Palton and Carib and all of you, good night to you. Good night to Tandy Flood. Pinky Payne, good night to you. Veronica, a special good night. June Filjas, good night to you. Lance, a special good night. Lance Butterbread, good night. Good night. Rupina and Kevin Cleary over in Canries. Crucial Sensei, I know you down there. Mysterio the artist, good night to you. Comrade Martin Philogen, a special good night to you. Monica Pierre in St. Thomas, I know you're locked on, so a special good night to you. You know, Tamisha, your daughter, your 10-year-old daughter said she wished she was 18. She would have voted for me. Ulissa, you only 10, you want to vote for me? Ulissa Philip of the Ave Maria Primary School. You will soon be able to vote for me, my girl. You will be able to vote for me at the right time. But just hang on there. And if I'm doing something wrong, tell your mommy to tell me I did something wrong. Ex-Sergeant 29 Thomas, good night to you. I know you're locked on in Viewfort. We say good night to Miller. We also say good night to Petra, Edmund, Glenda, my brother Lucas, and of course Beverly. Good night to all of you. Good night to Sikyo in Boapatat. Galba in Soufriere. Galba, what are we doing on Friday? We have protocol you must observe, you know. We have to observe the protocol, Galba. But Friday is Fresh Friday by Galba. Galba, you have to close yourself there. So you have to do that very early, my boy. Let's follow the protocol. Let's trust the science. Bolo and all the others, Frances and Mr. Sugar, good night. FL Dread and FL Butt, the twins, good night. Tenny Andrew in the U.S. Virgin Islands, a special good night to you. And somebody very close to my heart, Solage of JQ Motors, good night. Could you put on that picture for me, please? Saturday is the triplets' birthday. Yes. Cornelia Jacob ek twice there for some. Cornelia Jacob. We, if you twa as some way, you triplets. How they call them? Triplets, right?
Triplets,
yes. Okay, it's Cornelia Jacob. We say a special good night to you, you and your triplets. I believe their birthday is on Saturday. Vernel, and Yvel. Vernel, Yvel, and Yvel. Now, you know, you like so much Ruru. Fed triplets were Ruru. She want to come and help Thomas Eugene go back for the property that Guy Joseph took. You know, you like too much Ruru. You know, you like too much Ruru. Julian Charles, good night to you and good night to all the others. Glamity, good night to you. I do know, yes, the curfew, I see it's going around. I think there is truth to this. There is truth to it. So, you know, when it may be painful, Rufus, good night to you. Good night, Andre Rufus. You know, it may hurt that we have to stay indoors, but we have to do what is necessary to protect the spread of COVID. The science is telling us if we are vaccinated, the problem will slowly go away. So if we do it properly, we can get there. Kim at Castro, good night to you. Good night, good night, good night. Folks, we will open up the lines. You know, Cornelia Jacob tell me her first name is Ruru. I rather suspect that. You could put all three of us on. We'll be taking your calls at 4533111.
Not for chaotic purposes, eh?
Well, I don't know. If her name is Ruru, it's Ruru, you know. But actually, there was a guy from England that he's from Miku. We used to call him Ruru, you know. Sophia, remember Ruru, right? Yeah, Ruru was his name. We used to call him Ruru. So, I don't know.
Now,
Nicola B said good night to you.
I just want to...
Yeah, we have a call, but hold on, caller. Go ahead.
I just want to seemingly respond to a comment there that I wasn't threatening senior civil servants. What I stated categorically is senior civil servants who compromised their professional ethic and facilitated politicians in going contrary to the standing orders insofar as how things should be done, must expect to be dealt with. Simple as, and there's no apologies for that.
How can you apologize for that? But you're not threatening anybody. You're just saying that there is a way they ought to operate, and if they didn't operate in that fashion, then they expect the repercussions of their conduct. Okay, we have a caller. Good night. Can I help you? Hello?
Hello, good night.
Yeah, good night.
The Honorable Richard Frederick, good night, so how are you?
I'm blessed, thank God.
All right. Mr. James, good night.
Good night,
Charmaine, good night.
Good night.
Yes, I just want to say, after 1 month of being liberated from Alan Shaston and Guy Joseph, it feels so good. But I know there's a long way ahead to put Senator back on his feet. And
a very, very long way.
Yeah, it's a very long way, and I have confidence that the Honorable Prime Minister Philip JPA will, by all means necessary, put us first. And I also want to take this time out to congratulate Philip JPA because after so many years of being under Kenny Anthony, it's such an honor to rise up to the post of Prime Minister. So, Mr. Prime Minister, if you're listening, I'd like to say congratulations to you, and I have no doubt, I have all the confidence in you. I believe that you mean well for us and you will put us first in everything that you do. Thank you.
Thank you very much. It's one thing I do know, that Prime Minister that I know in Philip JPA, he will put people first. He will not squander the resources, and is very meticulous about his spending habits. He's not a spendthrift. So we expect good results and we expect value for money. I don't expect to see our resources being wasted, being squandered, being, you know, that kind of largesse. You know, there is no way we will have that in the cabinet under Philip JPA, or in the government rather under Philip JPA. We have another caller. Good night. Can I help you?
Hello.
Hello.
Good night.
Good night. Good night,
Good night, Mr. Frederick, and your guest.
Good night.
Good night, yeah.
Yes, I want to say bravo to the young lady. I know her by face, but I didn't know.
So why they have two men? They have wait. I don't like that. Land denom egyo for Mugadi bravo by from Lobad.
Wait, bravo to Mr. Frederick. Bravo to you. The best. We are dropping you, you know.
I know.
If it wasn't for you, Sandusha would be sinking.
You know.
You see the Calypso
losing ground.
Thing had thing, what's his name? And he said St. Lucia was going low and the pop. But now for that 5 years that passed there, that's when it was going low, you know.
Yeah, it was.
That's when it went low.
It was.
So yes. You know you are the one.
Okay, good.
But you know the young lady, you don't have to take somebody with a PhD to see, you know, the situation and to talk about the situation.
That's true.
You know?
Mm-hmm.
Because those that have the PhD would not say it as good as her.
Mm-hmm.
So I want to congratulate her and congratulate you, Mr. Frederick. And I know you'll do a good job because I know you're a man that can work.
Thank you.
And I know Mr. Pierre is a man that can work too.
Yes.
Because for the 20 to 25 years, Mr. Pierre has been representing the constituency that which I am a bred and born person there, and he has done a lot.
Yes.
And he's not a boaster. He's not a talker. He is just a humble man, and he tackles the situation, and he gets the job done. I know that I have noticed that's how he is.
That's how he is, indeed.
Yes. So I am saying that, as I always say, if all your plans, put God first.
Indeed.
Do not lean on your own understanding. Take it to God in prayer because He is the master, you know. Indeed. He's the master of us all. He's the master of His world and His earth.
Yes.
So He's given us privilege and to be in authority. But we don't have to forget Him when we're in authority.
I agree.
And please do not forget the grassroots. Visit them, walk the constituency. I would like all the ministers to do that.
You are speaking my language.
Yes, I would like all the ministers to do that. Walk the constituency. I heard that minister Henry, what's his name? Joachim Henry said that yes, he's going to walk his constituencies about maybe every Wednesday or so. What he said, and that is a good thing. That's a good idea because you know. The grassroots are the one that making the decision which government they want in the country. And they have made the decision who they wanted, and they show everybody that is that what that is there right now, the government that is there right now, that's what they wanted.
Yes, indeed.
So do what you all have to do and make St. Lucia rise again.
Thank you.
Have a blessed night.
Thank you much. Albert Frederick, do what you have to do to make St. Lucia rise again. Val, ensure that you make Frederick do what he has to do to make St. Lucia rise again. Kim Cauldron, good night to you. Kimberly, your daughter, good night.
But what you say about she, like Mr. Pierre, having waited so long, but let me just say, I call him the camera shy worker. So he don't say much, and he really and truly might avoid the cameras. But what I want is a worker, a performer, somebody who delivers. I don't mind, I never see you at all. The fact is, you have a mandate, and as long as you can deliver on that mandate, this is what I am interested in. For instance, Richard, even along the calls there, I see one to comment with regards to visa. But then we told you all before the 26th that you do not need a visa to perform. You do not need a visa to create an atmosphere, a level playing field, and to create opportunity. You guys still on the 26th, we endorse, we confirm that, and you guys still online, still on social media screwing up nonsense. You know what I'm telling you? We do. Central Castries says, and by extension, the government, that you do not need a visa to meet the aspirations of your constituents. So please, hacks, lay it off.
All right, thanks. We have another caller. Good night. Can I help you?
Good night.
Good night.
Good night. Good night, my brother.
Good night, Brother Frederick.
Good night to you.
Good night, Honorable Richard Frederick.
Oh, God. Good night again.
And to your guests.
Yes.
Good night.
Good
Good
night.
night, sir. Good night.
You need to lower the volume. Yeah, the volume of your radio or television.
Okay, I can do that. I can do that.
Just lower it, please.
Okay. Brother Frederick, I call at this time to congratulate you on a job well done.
Thank you.
You are one, like all of us, that worked for 5 years straight.
Yes.
And God has answered us. The people have answered our call 15-2. The people answered the call for good government. A government that will not squander the people's money. A government that will put the people first, as the Prime Minister always says. A government that will always work in the interests of the country and the people. My Prime Minister, Philip J. Pierre, I'm proud of him. You know why? Because he put you, Richard Frederick, in his office with him. And I believe that he knows why he do it. I shall remember, make St. Lucian recall Honorable Stevenson King told us that they have to take a jail for St. Jude's.
Yes.
You remember this, Mr. Frederick?
Yeah, he said that not too long ago.
That's correct. And I have confidence in you that if it called to, the axe will fall on the guilty ones.
Indeed.
The axe will fall on the guilty ones. And St. Lucian vote for change 15-2.
That's good.
Change the constitution. We have to bring back the dignity of this country.
Yes.
And I know this is an area which you stand for. With this, I call on God to give this Prime Minister and the Cabinet health and confidence and courage to do the right thing in the interest of the people. Good night.
Thank you much.
Good night,
Thank you
my
much. Thank you much. Yeah. You know, at the end of the day, there are quite a number of expectations. You know, with the expectations, those have to be managed because you may not have the wherewithal, you may not have all the resources to meet the demands, and each and every person, all and sundry, will be laying the demands at your table, at your feet, and sometimes just trying to figure in your mind, where do I go, who do I help, what do I do? That alone can be overwhelming because I mean, last weekend I went around and there are some dire situations. There are persons who are in dire need of some kind of help, of intervention. Now, you may have told somebody, okay, I will assist you with something that probably can wait. And you come across someone who's in dire need
now, yes.
In dire need as opposed to a want. And you find that sometimes people will not want to understand that even in attempting to fulfill the needs of your people, you have to prioritize.
Yes.
And it's so sad that it can place you in a very, very difficult position. But that's the life of politics.
But also too, if within 1 month this government could spend almost half of what Alan Shastney and his cabal spent throughout the entire COVID period, all in the interest of people, then it resonates a commitment on the part of this government
to help the poor people. That's correct. We have another caller. Good night. Can I help you?
Yeah, good night.
Good night, good night, my brother.
To God be the glory.
Indeed.
Great things
He has done. Indeed.
You know that song, Richard?
Yes, indeed.
Like I said, just 2 days after the Prime Minister won, the Prime Minister-elect, and I said he did not win the elections. None of you all won the elections.
Divine.
God did what he had to do in putting you all there to rescue St. Lucia. It is true you all were involved, you all campaigned and so on, but it was the work of the Almighty, you know, to put you all there so that St. Lucians can get it better. And I just want to echo the words of the young man Tim when he said about senior public servants. I honestly believe a lot of what was done was facilitated by senior public servants. A lot of it. Because as it stands, I don't think no minister of government will sign as accountant general or whatever. None of them will sign on a government check. You understand? So a lot of what was done was facilitated by some public servants. And I think they should answer to St. Lucians what they did wrong, because I honestly believe they did a lot of things wrong. Because sometimes when you submit a contract to Treasury, there are methods of payment, and you should follow the methods of payment. If there is a method of payment saying when you've done 50% of the work, you should be getting a first payment. But you have not done 20% and you're already getting payment. Something is wrong.
And that's all of that is facilitated by civil servants, eh?
Of course,
you know?
It is.
Because in a lot of those things, a politician can only go as far as a civil servant can permit him.
Exactly.
Even when your technical staff says 3 million and then the ministry end up for 20 million, you totally ignore your technical staff whom you rely on to facilitate a politician. And so therefore you must be held to account.
That is it. That is it. I mean, there are rates for different activities on a contract. You understand? If you have technical people from one ministry telling you this is the rate you're supposed to use, and then you come in with another set of rates tripling, you know, what it was supposed to be, something wrong. Something had to be wrong. Remember the scenario with the WASCO intake, where WASCO estimated
and then it was given to Guy Joseph's brother at a much increased price.
A much increased price. So something is wrong. So I totally support him when he said, boy, some public servants need to answer for
I mean, there's absolutely no doubt that some, not all, some public servants permitted themselves to be compromised.
Exactly.
That is as much as I can say. Anyway, caller, thanks for calling. All right. Let me say a special good night to Yasmin Steele. Good night to you. Dawn Marie McDonald over in the US. Good night to you, aka Lucy. Dawn Marie. Miguel Fevrier, you asked him to give me a hug, and he never did. Miguel Fevrier, why didn't you give me the hug? Hold on, Miguel. I can't hear you. Just give me a second. I can't hear you. Yeah, Miguel. Miguel Fevrier. You know you on your old phone. I can't hear you. Okay. Call me back, Miguel. Can I hear you? Okay, we have a call. Good night. Can I help you?
Good night, comrade.
Good night. Hey, what's up, brother Salty?
I am quite well.
Yeah.
Brother.
Yes.
I have been trying to call Comrade Moses. I have a little problem, something that I had been following from since before the election. And that concerns oxygen that we really need. plant for St. Jude's was moved into the free zone. Right now it has been moved to the building. Are you there?
Yeah, we're there.
Yeah, it has now moved into the building where they in one of the Invest St. Lucia building in the free zone. I need us to pay a little attention to that. Get this oxygen plant where it's supposed to be, or where it can be put into use, because it needs to be set up. It's not yet running, but we need to put a hold on that. So I would like Comrade Moses, if he's listening, or yourself,
he's listening. I'm almost
to take care of that.
Okay.
This is one of my concerns.
Okay.
And I just want to wish you and the cabinet all the best.
Thank you.
Yourself and Brother King.
Yes.
I want to say you all have done what a national concerned person should do.
Yes.
And Brother Pierre has done the right thing.
Yeah.
And I just want to...
No, I think the Prime Minister was the one who pulled off the master stroke.
Yeah, he said it was strategy.
Yes.
And it did work right.
Yes, and even in the formulation of his cabinet as well, I think he pulled off a master stroke. He started off certainly as one of those who operates with total inclusivity, and I think it is almost a new feat in the immediate region.
Within the politics of St. Lucia.
And before, let me just end by saying,
hold on, Miguel.
Our Labour Party voters, just bear a little patience,
yes,
and be prepared to defend who we have put in there to represent us. And to the United Workers' Party supporters and party, I want to say to you, you've got an opportunity to reboot, reorganize, and come as a party that can do the opposition work.
All right.
To assist and correct this country. My brother St. Lucia, follow the protocol and
be vaccinated.
Be vaccinated, but I also want to ask you all, it is time that you all bring in the Cuban vaccine.
All right.
This is one I have confidence in and I'm waiting for.
All right.
And if anything before, I will do that. And St. Lucia, stay blessed, my brother.
All right, my brother. Take care. Take care. Thanks. Always a pleasure listening to my brother. Miguel Fevrier.
Mr. Minister.
How are you?
I'm good. Good night, Charmaine.
Good night.
I'm giving you a special dispensation.
Well, I was to respond to the question. I didn't get to hug you because there were too many people trying to hug you.
Guys, a lady asked you to hug me all the way from the US. You came to me and tell me the lady asked you to hug me, but you did not hug me. Oh Lord, Don, you hearing it?
You had to take the line. The line was too long.
Before I make my contribution, number one, let me tell you, I already break your campaign promise, eh?
Which one?
You said there'll be no more flooding Castries.
Oh, no, I did not break my campaign promise. The natural elements which are beyond my control did intrude upon my desires and cause a campaign promise to have been broken.
I'm waiting for those 2 pumps like you promised to me.
Yes, actually one is, one isn't, but we will be looking into that with due dispatch.
All right. Well, I'm appealing to you, like I appealed to the Honorable Speaker. And like I appealed to the Prime Minister and Honorable Musa Shabatis this morning, because I do have some insight as to the state of St. Jude from your tour yesterday. So, and if what I'm hearing is as bad as it is, and I'm hearing that the Prime Minister
trust me, very bad.
Was near tears.
Yes.
I am requesting on behalf of all the media a tour with the technocrats, with the technical people ASAP, and we would like the opportunity to carry it live so the public can see what is going on.
Oh, I think that's a good request, and I don't believe this Prime Minister that I know would be averse to that. I mean, I don't think there's anything to hide. After all, we are servants of the people. We are there to represent the interests of the people, and I really don't see him having difficulty with that. I can tell you, Miguel, that I do believe that he is listening. He will get the message, and I can communicate an answer to you from him. I don't see why anyone would have a problem with that. Let St. Lucian see what's going on, what's there, how they attempted to fool us, especially, Miguel, when you check the United PAC page just before the elections, and they showed those colorful drawings, those pictures, a state-of-the-art hospital, and all we have is a glorified car park, all we have are slabs of concrete, nothing in between, no walls, neither on the exterior nor on the interior. You know, it's just columns holding up slabs, and we have already spent $100 million on there. Norman Senville said overtly that the cost to complete only the ground floor is $38 million. When
we spend almost $500 million on the hospital,
and we would not have a hospital yet. And when you juxtapose that with Reno in Dominica, building a 60-bed hospital for $32 million, you ask yourself, where exactly did our money go to, and who should be held responsible, if not civilly, at least criminally?
Okay, and I'm going to ask this question and I will hang up. Do you believe this is the reason that the former Prime Minister and the former Prime Minister's former Prime Minister are overseas? Good night, folks.
Oh Lord, he's asking me if the former Prime Minister and his former Prime Minister, the one riding the bicycle, is his former Prime Minister. If that's right, I don't know, but I mean, it's a real travesty. I mean,
no, Richard,
anybody in a leadership capacity who has to shoulder the responsibility of righting that wrong would feel a tremendous weight on their shoulders, and it is something that would bring you to tears easily, because you cannot believe that the public is being put through this. But we have a caller. Let's take this call. Good night. Can I help you? Hello?
Good night. Can I help you, sir?
Good night. Good night.
Mr. Frederick.
Can you turn on the volume of your radio, please?
Yes. I'm watching you presently. And I'm aware that you are in St. Jude today.
I wasn't in St. Jude today. I was in St. Jude yesterday.
I also feel that you should make a stop at the airport and find out why are they not paying the truckers who've been working there for about 3 months. They have not gotten paid.
Well, you see, that's what happens when a government tries to rush projects before an election. They don't identify the sources of revenue to put into commensurate expenditure. They do a lot of things just to fool the eyes of the voting public. And at the end of the day, a lot of people remain. I have a friend from Monrepo, and I rather suspect he's a friend of the person who's calling now, who has a trucker. His initials are MJ. You know him?
Of course, I do know.
And I know.
And the guys are complaining. Some of them are coming and complain to me.
Yeah. Well,
I need you to take a step in there and see what's happening.
All right. One of these days I must come down there. But I don't understand what was the justification. I mean, it just defies logic, common sense.
Almost 4 months you can't find money to pay truckers?
Well, boy, I don't know.
Some of them have truck loans to pay?
Yes, that is true, eh? That is so true.
You need to intervene, Richard.
I need to intervene. Oh, Lord. Okay. All right, I'll intervene.
Thank you very much.
All right, take care. Yeah, but, I mean, how can a government run a country like this? For every time someone works, there is a legitimate expectation to be paid. And there is a cycle. So you take your fuel on credit. The person supplying you fuel expect to be paid. The truck goes to work, the driver expects to be paid if you are not the owner. You know,
the truck has to be maintained.
And the truck has to be maintained. And you are disrupting several economic cycles.
But when you watch the level of disruption, you almost get the feeling that these guys had fun. Those guys felt comfortable. Those guys disrupted every facet, every sector of our society. Nurses weren't able to get a loan because the job tenure wasn't in place. Teachers, fishermen, every sector of society, and sadly, you and your cabinet colleagues and this government really and truly have to build back. When in essence, you should have been building from. You guys have to build back.
Yeah, we have a caller. Let's take that call. Good night. Can I help you?
Hello, good night. Can I?
Good night. Good night.
Good night. Can I help you?
Yes.
Yeah,
good night. Good night, my brother.
Yeah. Congratulations to you, Mr. Richard Frederick.
Yes.
Honorable Mr. Frederick.
Thank you. Thank you.
Good night. Good night, sir.
Okay, this is the first time I've ever called in any program at all. Some people may recognize my voice, but I'd say that we gave you all the mandate, 15-2, and I'm hoping that whatever laws that could be passed or whatever can be broken, that at no time from there on we go the American way. That is not a born solution. Your navel string is not born here or buried here, that you cannot be our prime minister. Because these individuals do not have our patrimony and our heart at heart.
I agree with you, no caller. I agree with you.
Canada is not a solution. I studied in Jamaica, I studied in England, and I didn't see one of them. I'm a solution. Now, if we cannot find somebody that's not a solution, we want this individual cannot be our prime minister. You are a lawyer, and I suppose you have one or two lawyers around. Can we make this constitution indicate, hello, you are not born here, you cannot be our prime minister. You can be an MP, not the prime minister.
Well, caller, let me say this. I have my personal views on that. It may not necessarily represent the views of the government. And I have said this. I have said that that one cannot. Okay, the Governor General, the Constitution says that the Governor General must be a born St. Lucian. But the Governor General is a ceremonial head. The Governor General is not involved in the day-to-day operation of this country. The economics, the social set, nothing at all.
So therefore, being a government solution does not impact his role.
Exactly. Now, if the Constitution demands that the Governor General must be a St. Lucian with minimal responsibility insofar as running the country is concerned, in my view, it's an anomaly for that same Constitution not demanding that the Prime Minister is a born St. Lucian. But then again, that's my personal view. I have said it openly, and if I had my way, I amend the Constitution tomorrow morning.
But you see, what...
Okay, caller?
I said that we have given you all the mandate.
Yes.
Find means of way, any form of way, to block that gap.
Because I was
one solution, you cannot be my prime minister.
I agree with you, caller.
I was coming to the notion
find a way to block that before the 5 years is up.
I agree.
That Shasta for sure will not run because he cannot be prime minister.
That's correct. Yes. I agree with you, caller.
Good night, people, and enjoy the rest of the week.
All right.
I think that the prime minister, if I know the current prime minister well, I don't think that he would want his actions to be misinterpreted as self-serving. And so therefore, we elected a government with an overwhelming mandate on the 26th.
Let me tell you something, Tim. I'll tell you something. You see, when the electorate, as I call it a whole, when the electorate votes you in, they vote you in with a certain expectation to make certain decisions on their behalf which they are unable to make. For example, okay, let us say the vendors in Castries Central. They voted for me believing I would bring relief to them in a given way.
Yes.
If that is not done, I would have been basically
the wrong choice.
I would be taking their vote from them and deceiving them. Even there are times where somebody is in a position, that person may be your personal friend, but you have to make a decision on behalf of those persons who elected you and who expect you to act on their behalf. You understand? So my PM may have his personal thing, but then if he does some kind of referendum and the people say to him, boss, this is the direction we want the government to go. Irrespective of our own personal opinions, we will be mandated to execute and manifest the desires of the people.
Which is exactly why I was going.
Yeah, we have a caller. Good night. Can I help you?
Good night.
Good night, good night, sir.
Base volume radio, TV, Obama play.
I have two names.
Oh, okay.
Good night, boss.
Good night, good night.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Oh, and somebody I want to congratulate, and I never heard about him much, is Christopher.
Oh, yeah.
Christopher Hunt.
Yes.
I don't hear nothing about him.
I spoke to him earlier today. I spoke to him yesterday. But he's okay. He's okay.
Oh.
Yes.
Well, you are doing a good job anyway.
Thank you. We have started, and I'm hoping we continue along that vein.
Yes.
All right.
Likewise.
Okay. Thank you much.
Take care, boss.
Yeah. You were saying something, Tim, earlier about basically the will of the desires of the people.
Right, and I was saying that in that direction, in that same vein, the callers, the viewers, the populace, everybody who voted, and even persons who did not vote this government, let this be so then the government move on a decision of the, very much like a referendum, like you say,
the majority.
They move on the decision of the majority. Because if you listen to Dr. Kenny's explanation for not having dealt with the Constitution at a 16-1, it was he didn't want it to seem like a Labour Party thing.
Agenda.
Yes. Okay, I understand. We have another caller. Good night. Can I help you? Okay, we lost that call. We'll take one more call, and then Tim, I'll give each of you a couple minutes to wrap up. I'll wrap up. We have you're our final caller. Good night. Can I help you?
Hi. Good evening, Mr. Minister. Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you. You're calling from Canada.
Absolutely. Yes, I go tired.
They can't get me out of the race.
Good evening, Charmaine. Good evening,
Good
Tim.
evening.
Yes, my brother. Good evening.
Job, guys. Richard, I just want to say that it was a very good idea that you've decided to continue. Can I help you? Because over the years, the St. Lucian populace, both at home and in the diaspora, have depended on you for news on what's happening government-wise and what's going on in the country. So that's a very good decision.
Yes.
There's something else I really, really want to say publicly. There's a specific individual whose motive is to become a diplomatic representative for St. Lucia overseas. And she's going all sorts of things.
That's the female in Canada, right?
That's absolutely who I'm talking about.
And she was here not too long ago.
I know, I saw her climbing the Leclerc Hill, sweating like God knows what, to achieve nothing. But anyway, this individual will eventually stop her own self. There'll be an internal combustion in her machinery, and it'll implode, and then that'll be the end of her.
Yes.
Anyway, my brother,
yes.
Team, Tim, Charmaine, and everybody else, St. Lucia, we have work to do. Let's forget about these people. Let's incriminate who we have to incriminate to give back the people their money. We have work to do. Let's do what we have to do.
Yes, my brother.
The people in St. Lucia have spoken. The people in the diaspora are actually still speaking. And that's the power behind the current government.
Yes.
So let's ignore the cannon fodder and let's get on with the work that we have to do.
Indeed.
Good night, my brother.
Thank you much.
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you. Daniel Alexander in the US. Good night to you. Okay. We won't take any more calls at this time. Tim, Shamin, you're closing.
Yeah, well, let me just say, boy, Richard, fellas tell me they will fly my head if I do at least. Well,
Yeah,
fly my head if I do
negligence.
at least. So I need to, and a number of callers have called and stated Richard and his guests. Actually, this is the substitute teacher. The
I
teacher
wanted to
will be
make
on
that clear.
vacation and coming periodically. So this is the substitute.
They will be the
class
ones
managers.
taking over. Can I help you from next week? And what I will do off and on every week, every other week or so, I will make a guest appearance. I will be here, you know, as and when the situation permits me. I will be here, but they will be the ones holding the fort.
So let me shout out Taco Bell, Machicat, Fox George, No Face. You right there, a whole heap of them. Miss Jacinta at Lastic Hill. I know you guys are listening. And who else would I know I will forget because as time moves along. But Glennis, yeah, my little cousin Glennis, she said, make sure you shout me, boy. You know what I'm telling you. Emblem, you know what I'm telling you. The whole crew. Yards out, I know a number of yards, a number of communities within the Castries are actually locked on tonight for the first show since the short hiatus. So let me shout out Grass Street, Conway, Slumside, Rose Hill, New Village, Georgeville, San Souci, most definitely. I know you retired and young persons are listening, you guys are locked on. And for those who are asking me to tell the minister that, yeah, the older folk in San Souci need to see him. I did say so to him. I think somehow he will fit you on his agenda. He will be doing a walkthrough when time permits. Yeah, Charmaine, big up.
Yes, I would like to say thank you for being a good audience. Like my colleague team said, we will be the substitute for Papa, the Honorable Richard Frederick, the principal of our class. It is indeed a pleasure for me to learn from him, to grasp and understand much more in depth of what is happening around me so that I can bring the issues to you. We can go through the development stages of this new administration as we begin to rise from the phoenix, as I know we will.
Rise from the ashes.
From the ashes, like a phoenix. And also to the young people out there who have come out in their large numbers, have spoken with the mandate that they've given this new administration, I say to you, be of good cheer. We will always be around to assist you, to help you with development. You can speak to me in the constituency. We will always be there to help you to be able to create that link between you and your rep, as not just for Castries Central, but for St. Lucia by extension. I look forward to an interesting period with you, and I hope that you continue to be patient and you continue to articulate your ideas, because we cannot do it alone. Together as a country we can do it, and you've showed that you are able to come together with the resounding mandate that you gave at this election, saying that enough is enough, and I know that together we can make it. So good night, thank you, and I look forward to an interesting season with you.
Wow. You know, Charmaine, I rather suspect you sleep under my bed sometimes. that was so well put. Folks, let me just say this. This is about teamwork. I hate the concept of dictatorship. I hate the concept of autocracy. I believe in democratic leadership. I believe we are all in this together. That is how I've always done what I had to do. People have to feel that we all are part of a team, and as long as we watch each other's back, we have each other's backs, I do think that we can forge ahead together and make it happen for the benefit of not only our constituency but of our country. I look forward to working with my cabinet colleagues. I look forward to making a contribution that would redound to the benefit of my constituents and for St. Lucia at large. Once again, I just want to say good night, thank you. And for all of those who have reposed the confidence in me, once again, thank you. Rest assured, I will deliver. There's absolutely no doubt about that. I have already begun getting my feet wet. I have already made changes, places have passed. I'm sure my staff at the National Housing Authority the National Housing Corporation are very, very happy. We had a stand-up meeting yesterday. I didn't like what I see, and so I gave instructions for them to get certain things done, including getting themselves, the last truck they had, it was sold by Timothy Mangal, and they don't have a truck. They're getting a new truck tomorrow. We need to, if we are going to work with people and we want to maximize productivity, there must be a certain degree of comfort that assails the ambience in which they have to operate. When I walked into the office yesterday and I saw those cubicles, not even deserving of prisoners to be kept, about the size of a cell, I felt, look, my people need better comfort, and so I've already instructed a new office be drawn, and we will find the money to build NHC a very comfortable office so that those people can deliver on the mandate of the government that will redound to the benefit of St. Lucians. So folks, I cannot do it alone. I ask all of you who fall within the sphere of wherever I need to operate from, help me, let me help you. Once again, good night. God bless. See you next Thursday, God willing. Bye.
My name is Martina. I would like to say thank you to the guys from Paddy Access, especially Jermaine, for a job well done. I called him 2 days before my brother's funeral to do a